Welcome to the Raw Spotlight podcast, where we feature inspiring leaders in the B2B space and share their unique stories. Let's get started with the show.
Welcome back to the Raw Spotlight. I'm your host, Emily L., co-founder of Ready at Work. I am joined today by my business partner, Victor Huynh, and our senior web developer, Michael Chan. We have just returned from WordCamp 2025 in Portland, and we're still processing everything we've experienced across the 3 packed days, from inspiring keynote speakers and live demos to side conversations that sparked big ideas. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our day 1 and day 2 recaps recorded live at the event. But today we're back home, back in our offices, and ready to reflect on the big picture. We want to talk about what we've learned, what we're bringing back to our team and clients, and then lastly, how should businesses and organizations like yours adapt? Before we start, I have a sponsor message. This episode is brought to you by Ready at Work, a website-first digital marketing agency focused on long-term growth. Our proven 7-step website blueprint is at the heart of everything we do, designed to build high-performing, lead-generating websites. If you want a full breakdown, check out our episode on 7-step blueprint or visit readyatwork.com to learn more. So today I'm joined by my business partner and co-founder, Victor Huynh, and our senior developer, Michael Chan. Victor has led our growth from garage startup to one of LA's top web agencies, helping clients succeed through branding, strategy, and custom websites. Michael brings over 12 years of development experience and has been leading an ongoing project with our client, Adobe Systems, for over a decade, specializing in accessibility, performance, and enterprise-level web solutions. Victor, Michael, welcome back and welcome home.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Good to see everyone again.
Okay, let's touch on what we learned in day 3, and then also out of all the 3 days, what are we decompressing from everything that we're bringing back with us? Victor, did you want to start? Maybe what are you still thinking about from WordCamp?
Yeah, I think the biggest one was, I think we call it the 800-pound gorilla, right? Every event that has to do with marketing or tech nowadays, everyone's talking about AI, right? Mm-hmm. And I think WordCamp was not different, not different in a good way, right? Mm-hmm. And because in web tech, WordPress has matured to a certain level, and some of the younger ones might think it's not cool anymore. It's good to see that the WordPress community is staying up to date and present and engaged in AI instead of the opposite, where they're kind of sticking their head in the sand. So I think that's the biggest thing to me that stood out, is that the level of involvement in the AI community and how to integrate that, and how that their angle was very different than what you see out there. Is really about, because WordPress is about democratizing the internet, right? Mm-hmm. The open web. So it's all about learning how to host your own LLMs, figuring out the different technologies, right? As opposed to just going out and, pulling an API from ChatGPT and calling it a day. So there's a lot of that, and a lot of discussions, ethical discussions about AI as well, right? Mm-hmm. And where it's headed, where we as a community wanted to head. So I thought that was kind of the highlight, underscoring all the last couple of days that we were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Michael, what are you still thinking about now that we're back?
So the whole WordCamp, I think, is there's 2 main topics. One is what Victor said, the AI. It's not just from inside WordPress, but also hosting company also have AI tools that you can use to reach into the WordPress, so you don't even need to log into the WordPress backend and perform certain actions. And also move to the Gutenberg blocks. So there's a big push to use the Gutenberg blocks now that it's more mature. And on Ready Our website, we'll think about how it compares to other types of builds like Elementor or other page builders or custom WordPress to build, and what's the trade-off?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of discussion around that. For me, I keep thinking about one of the last day's session in regards to the topic was what happens when AI starts shopping for your on your shop. So I'm still thinking about it, still dissecting that topic, and then trying to predict what could happen or what people are saying could happen as well. So for people that owns e-commerce stores, it's going to happen in the near future that your AI agent will soon be shopping on your behalf. And what does that mean for store owners, right? Your store will have to be optimized not only for real humans, but also for AI agents to easily find your product and structured in a way where it's AI friendly. So that's definitely something that's top of my mind coming home.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was a pretty dark one. I think a lot of people were kind of worried during that conversation, right? But the one valid point that the speaker mentioned was that even if this technology starts evolving and growing and becoming common, it's going to be a long time, a long transition.
Right. Because
Just
there
like,
will be traditional shoppers that still just wants to shop,
hmm
themselves. Yeah.
right. Just like full self-driving. I mean, it's kind of out, but we've been talking about it for a decade. Not everyone is using it. Some people are playing with it, but it's going to be a while before you're not allowed to drive, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not worried. I am excited for that. I'm, up for that challenge from a design perspective. How do we design things in a way where it does make sense for humans, but structure it programmatically where it makes sense for AI bots. So I'm just curious on how that will evolve.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael, from a tech side perspective, what should businesses or developers know about where WordPress is headed now?
Um, I think in the next couple of years or next couple of months, there'll be a lot of AI plugins pushing out since they're going to showcase a lot of the capabilities, and some of the features are migrating to the core now. And as it more stabilized, a lot of the plugins developers will be pushing out AI tools that developers or clients can use to make their editing easier or integration to other plugins. So I think from the client's perspective or developer perspective, it will be easier to use these tools in the future.
Hmm.
And if you're a plugin developers, there'll be a lot of changes catching up to you.
Right. So for businesses, then that probably also means there's going to be more quote unquote out of box ready, so that we don't need so much time and resources to develop some of these tools that are already widely used, right? Yeah. So, Victor, how about you? What's the best part of being back, from getting so inspired from all the keynote speakers and presentation? What's an idea or shift that we're planning to implement right away?
Um, Implement right away. I think there was a lot of different topics that were covered over the 3 days, and some that were really catered towards agencies. There was one talk about like thought leadership that I went to. Obviously, that's top of mind for us. You know, as this whole podcast is all about thought leadership. But I also thought about how it could be applied to our clients, especially in the B2B lead generation space, right? How do we build a pipeline, not only from our website and SEO, but also how do we push content the other way from top down, right? Through something like a podcast like this, or even to get on stage, right? I'm still working my way up to that point to get up on stage and talk to people. So I thought it was quite interesting and something that, you know, I could start working towards. So I was a little inspired. So maybe sometime next year, right, I would get a speaking gig and share something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Any open invites that organizations that you want to speak at?
WordCamp, I don't know, right? There were some pretty good speakers, right? So it's just somewhere to get started, I believe. But again, you got to start somewhere, right? I got up and I asked the speaker, like, how do you get started in presentations or live talks? And it's just really starting small, like getting comfortable, getting in front of a camera, like just like we're doing now. You know, this was a big initiative this year to get out and talk, right? And talk to our audience, put out content. And it's just a progression as you get more comfortable, right? Right now we're trying to get Michael, you know, kind of sucked into this space as well, right? So
get enough likes, we'll get Michael as a regular for this.
Yeah. So it's just getting started. I mean, it's definitely not easy, especially for introverts like myself. You know, a lot of people don't believe me when I say, you know, it took a lot of work for me to get to where I am. But then again, you just have to go out and do it and build day by day. Yeah.
On another note, I was I don't think I attended this one with the two of you. I think I was solo in this session. It was YouTubers within WordPress community and then shaping the ecosystem. And they had some really big names that were having a panel discussion as YouTubers. And they mentioned that consistency is what you need. You know, you just, in order to build, you know, your brand, whether it be you as a brand or the company as a brand, you need to make sure that, you know, you consistently put out content. Yeah, they said don't approach YouTube like TV. You know, YouTube isn't like a TV platform. It's a social media. So give the content is king, but, you know, context is also above king, which they call it God. So like what you mentioned, you just got to get started, give context, be authentic, be yourself. And most importantly, being consistent is, you know, what the entire panel really agreed upon and recommended.
Right.
Yeah. So back to you, Victor. I know Michael gave his side of recommendation from a tech perspective, but are there anything that we've learned that we can bring back and apply to our clients?
Yes, there were quite a few tools, and not really in the speaker sessions, but in the actual exhibit hall. I really liked that this year. That they had like almost like a exhibit hall where vendors were able to kind of showcase what they do. So we spoke to a few. Automatic has a really strong like agency partnership program that will consolidate a lot of the tools that we're already using for clients, but how to consolidate it into a dashboard to make it much easier for clients and us to manage, right? So I thought there's a lot of opportunity there, some more advanced hosting options for performance, some optimization, We actually got to speak to Yoast as well, right? Get some thoughts in terms of how they feel the industry is going. So there's a lot of small technical things that I think would be very beneficial to add to our tech stack or even our process if we already are using some of that. So I would say that's one of the big benefits of being there. I mean, these are household names in the community. So if you're in the community of WordPress, you own a WordPress site, or you're an agency dealing with WordPress, most likely you've heard or have used some of these technology companies, their products, right? And it was a great opportunity to sit down with them face to face and have them talk to you and explain. Because a lot of times when we jump into it, we only scratch the surface. We have a specific use case. Hey, we're going to use this for speed optimization, or we use this for image optimization. And this plugin actually does 10 other things really well. But because we're not trying to solve for that issue, we don't dive any deeper. And there's so many tools out there, right? But being able to talk to the technical people, there were engineers that actually built the products. There were engineers that solve problems for clients. Like, we were able to really sit down and pick their brains. So it was pretty cool. We can apply a lot of the things that we learned there.
Yeah, I'm excited to test out Automatic as well. Like you mentioned, the dashboard, and then some of the products, other third-party products that they kind of fold into that dashboard. So it does make it a lot more simpler as our client's agency when we manage their site, and then also it makes it easier for the client to manage all their billing as well, so that they're not seeing like 20 plugin bills randomly being charged on their credit cards. So yeah, I'm excited to see if they really live up to the performance that they kind of showed us. So let's just say if a brand is planning on a redesign or a platform migration from something else to WordPress, what should they be thinking about after everything we've learned at WordCamp?
What should they be thinking about if they're looking to migrate to WordPress? From my experience, a lot of people are already on WordPress, but the ones that aren't, most of the time it's an upgrade. They're on either they're a DIY
Wix.
or some of these easier platforms, self-service platforms, or someone in-house built something but are not true professionals in website building, and they're transitioning into WordPress. I think the biggest thing during transition is really understanding your messaging, your value proposition, and then work with a very competent team, because WordPress is such a big platform, so flexible, the community is so big that you can literally build almost anything you can dream of, right? But how do you do it well, right? So there was a speaker that I sat in on that talked about multisite. So for those of you that don't know, there could be a lot of use cases for multisite. You have one website, one instance, but multiple websites living under that umbrella. So you can share a database. So maybe you have a business that sells wholesale and retail. They sell the same products, but you have a different user experience. But all the descriptions are the same. All the product images are the same. So you can set up something called multi-site, right? Or you have different regions that you're servicing, Asia, Latin America, North America, whatever, right? And you don't want to manage 3-5 different websites. You have one master site and you have multi-site setup. So because of the scale and the scope, I mean, it can be so big. You really have to really understand your value proposition, your customer experience, and all the different customer experiences, and really map it out and not just jump right into it. So the research, discovery piece, the mapping out of the user experience, the buyer journey is really important. And then layer that through your user experience, your UI, UX, and the build. So I would say use WordPress as a solution for everything. Like just, hey, WordPress is going to fix it. WordPress is a tool. It's a very powerful tool, but you really have to do all your homework before you apply all those things, right? And not just go, I'm going to use WordPress because it does this thing.
Right. Not just jump straight in, but really look at the strategy.
Right. There's a saying I like to say is, if you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Right. So if you think WordPress is the solution for everything, then you're going to try to solve everything with WordPress. It's not necessarily that. It's a very powerful tool, but you also need the other pieces that go with it.
Yeah. How about you, Michael? Same question, but from a tech perspective. What should businesses be thinking about based on what we learned if they're planning to migrate into WordPress?
Let's say performance. I think there's a lot of speakers also talk about performance also. So from the image optimization or other developer coding techniques that optimize certain files and calls, and also a good hosting. And so a lot of these contribute to a good page speed. And that in turns can make a good or bad WordPress website. Even if it's a WordPress installation, with or without some of these tools, good hosting, it can make a massive difference.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So from a page speed perspective to actual users, if it loads slow, users are not really gonna return or stay. Yeah. And then as we know, AI, it's about speed as well. So if later AI is shopping on our behalf, we want to make sure it's quick as we're serving the products on these platforms. Okay, let's close out with one last question. What's one action you would recommend businesses to take based on what we learned from all 3 days, day 1, 2, and 3?
Should I go first?
Sure.
I'm going to go back to my opening statement about AI. Right? It's here. It's not coming. It's here. You can either pretend it's not here and just continue business as usual and eventually, lose your whatever advantage you had as a business, or you can lean into it and understand how to use it. Even if you don't agree with it, you still have to learn it, right? How can it be applied to your business, whether it's marketing, whether it's your website, whether it's your operations and things like that. So I think the worst thing you can do is just avoid it because you don't know what it is and it freaks you out. Start small, like everything else we're talking about. Read up on it, watch a YouTube video on it, right? Visit a website, learn a little bit each day, just so that you understand how it's impacting. Right now, we're having a lot of these AI search result conversations with clients, right? And even within our community of marketing agencies, we're definitely, that's top of mind. And how do we leverage it? How do we ride that wave? It's coming and it's here. How do we climb aboard if we're not already there? Obviously, some of our listeners are probably power users and a lot further along. But for those of us that are not or haven't, right, I encourage you, learn about it and look at the applications. Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Michael?
For me, I guess you want an accessibility check if you haven't.
Yeah.
So I think for this year, accessibility is not even a topic anymore at WordCamp, which means it's basically a requirement at this point. And so allow some of the plugins that install has good semantic HTML and also your theme. I think which in turns when AI calls your site, if your site looks correct to the machine, I think it may also help in the future. So
Yeah.
That's a great point. Accessibility and being compliant will also help with AI, which makes a lot of sense. Good point. Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about that, we're talking about like a solid, accessible build, not just an overlay, right? Because there are a lot of software that people subscribe to and go, oh, it's going to magically make your website accessible. It's basically built to trick the scanners, but it doesn't truly make your website accessible. So just beware.
Yeah, that's a good point to focus on as we look ahead. I'll go. I think being adaptive is something that I would highly recommend businesses and organizations to take on because it's changing pretty quickly. Even one of the sessions, they were talking about why Google search keeps evolving because there's different generations, there's different types of searchers, there's new devices that we're using to search. There's different technology behind the search now. And there are different tools that are now available. So, if you want to stay ahead or stay relevant, I think it's important to be adaptive and be flexible to these changes and, apply these changes to your site. A 5-year-old website, it's not 5 years in this space. It's probably a 10, 20-year-old website. It's equivalent to a 10, 20-year-old website.
Yeah, I agree. That was from Danny Sullivan, right? He's the guy that created Search Engine Land too. So he's a pretty important guy in the industry. But I noticed that even he doesn't have the answers. Google doesn't have the answers to everything AI, right? They're figuring out as they go. So if a giant multi-billion-dollar company like Google is trying to figure it out, I mean, that also tells you that the playing fields are a little bit more fair now than ever, right? As fair as they will ever be in our lifetime, I believe.
Okay, well, that's a wrap to our WordCamp 2025 journey and this mini podcast series. We're energized, aligned, and ready to apply what we learned to our clients' work and planning with the team. Big thanks to the entire WordPress community, the organizers, speakers, and volunteers for making such a powerful event. We are looking forward to 2026 in Phoenix. But if you've enjoyed this WordCamp series, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or share your own takeaways with us, whether it be on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Instagram. We'd love to get insights from you as well. Victor, if people want to reach out to us, where can they connect?
LinkedIn's probably the most common area. Just mention the podcast so you don't get marked as spam. I try to stay active on my other socials as well. But again, readyartwork.com. If you drop an inquiry there, I'll also be overseeing that as well.
Great. All right, Michael, thanks again for lending your technical perspective with us today and the entire series. It's always great to have your valuable insights from a tech perspective. Okay, so until next time, stay curious, stay innovative, and thanks for listening to the Raw Spotlight. I'm Emily Au. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Raw Spotlight podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.